I played through Dark Souls 1 at level 1, but under the guise of it being my first ever playthrough of the game, I intentionally divided my gameplay up to be moments of pure stupidity to moments of total expertise. I asked really stupid questions. I acted like a total beginner. I took a terrible route through the game while pulling off a decently tough challenge run. My regular viewers knew it wasn't my first time, but to anyone else joining, they all believed it was. I essentially created two parallel shows at the same time. I purposefully did things I shouldn't. Things like trying to fight the Asylum Demon with a broken sword. Going to the catacombs early and fighting Pinwheel as my first boss. Ringing the Quay-like bell first. Listen. I'm gonna kill random NPCs. No, I don't like you. You attack me. I'm gonna break the Ring of Faith and Protection. I'm gonna fight Gwyn and get every parry back to back. I'm curious to see how people will react to seeing someone go through a first playthrough able to steam through the game, while also making the worst decisions possible. My first idea was to crawl through the Undead Asylum and stubbornly try to fight the Asylum Demon with a broken sword. I figured it was a great way to sell the beginner act, playing it around with the worst weapon imaginable. After a few failed attempts, I gave up the charade, for now, and grabbed the axe to carry on. I know you can use black firebombs for a quick kill, but that felt too meta for a first time player. Wait, if I press R2, is that a bigger attack? Oh. After some wandering, I circled back and decided to test what a level 1 character could do, so I took on the Asylum Demon properly, and pretty much steamrolled him. Just to spice things up, I punched him to death for the last bit of health. Got to keep the illusion interesting. Oh, he's dead! Hey! We beat him with fists. Arriving at Firelink Shrine, this is where the real plan hatched. I wasn't just going to play badly, I was going to play unconventionally. I grabbed the first weapon I could actually use. No, of course not, but... Hey, one of them might, I don't know. I killed Petrus after he robbed me the wrong way. I know, Carissa, it's been disappointments. But I'm sure your time will come. It's a long game. And took a totally inadvisable stroll through the graveyard. Then came the idea. What if Pinwheel was my first boss? It's doable. I messed around a bit, gauging how viable it would be, then I committed. Getting through the catacombs would be tough, but the payoff? Too good to pass up. I was really curious if anyone would try to steer me away from this route, because let's be honest, diving straight to the catacombs at level 1 is like choosing hard mode before even learning the controls. But hey, what's the worst that could happen? I made my way deeper, taking it one careful step at a time. I had to deal with every necromancer along the way, because no divine weapon meant the skeletons would keep coming back unless I handled them first. It was slow, brutal, and honestly, a bit of a slog, but at least they stayed dead once I finished them off. Eventually, I took out this final necromancer, pulled a lever, and yeah, I have no idea what this does. It's been a few years since I last played Dark Souls 1, and my memory was a little foggy on this whole section. But hey, I was rolling with it. Then came this glorious moment. I fell down to this weird ledge. Turns out, I'd accidentally skipped a huge section of the catacombs. Perfect. Couldn't have planned it better if I tried. Just another stroke of genius from someone pretending to be lost. I accidentally fell, possibly, get off. Where I'm supposed to be. Stop! Ooh, green titanite. Alright, so there's no ledges below me. Do we just drop? What do you guys think? Cutscene. I stumbled upon this blacksmith, who sounded like he was communicating through a walkie-talkie stuck inside a tin can. Seriously, why does he sound like that? Was there a budget cut on voice acting? Who the hell is this guy? He just made me... Anyway, long story short, I completely bypassed most of the catacombs without realizing it. And now, I was staring down my first boss, Pinwheel. I was low on Estus, level 1, no prep, and hadn't fought a Souls boss in a couple years. And yeah, there was a whole stigma around dying to Pinwheel, so I was a bit nervous. I crept into the arena with only 3 Estus, mentally bracing for disaster. And then, I beat him first try. Okay, well, as we now know, Pinwheel is free. Even at level 1, as your first boss, he's done. Achievement unlocked. By right of kindling, you may now, whatever the hell that said, I don't know. But yeah, we did it. We did it. That's right. The infamous Pinwheel downed on my first go. I walked out of there with the Mask of the Child, which honestly felt like the perfect reward for someone pretending to be a complete noob. With that unexpected victory in the bag, wandered into the Tomb of the Giants for a bit. But let's be real, I got spooked. That place is creepy. So I decided to head back to the surface and continue with the more traditional route. But here's where the real fun started. Getting back to the surface was way harder than I expected, especially since I skipped a whole chunk of the catacombs. Without warps unlocked, I was stuck trying to figure out the way back. Things went from bad to worse when I accidentally fell down the hole. Classic me, right? I hadn't rotated this bridge, and I didn't know the other way back up. At this point, I had to throw in the towel and call on my trusty chat for help. They came to the rescue. I finally made my way back to a familiar area and lit the next bonfire. Oh my god, we made it. We actually made it. We actually left the catacombs. We did it. And a few more tries later, I finally saw the light. Literally. Freedom! Oh, guys, it's so nice to see daylight. You've no idea. It is so nice to see daylight. I'm never going to down there again. That was crazy. What's funny is no one really told me I shouldn't have gone there in the first place. But since it was my first stream with a run, most of the viewers currently were regulars who already knew I'd played Souls games before. We had a couple new faces join though, so I guess it was a mix of confusion and amusement for them. Once I finally made it back to Firelink Shrine, I decided to take the proper route. No more detours, no more being sneaky. I headed into the Undead Burg, and it was time to really crank up the beginner act. I wandered around aimlessly, throwing out questions. I was laying it on thick. But at this point, some viewers had to be catching on, right? I mean, surely they couldn't believe I was this clueless. Alright, is this a boss? Have I got to fight the dragon later? Is that a boss? But hey, I wasn't done yet. I reached the Taurus Demon's Bridge, and immediately I climbed the ladder and took out the 2 archers. And then I ran in and took down Taurus Demon on my first try. There it was, the first sign of real gameplay sneaking through. Can I still pull off the first playthrough ruse after this? Honestly, I wasn't sure, but I had to try. That was easy. Was that a boss? Swing away. I don't have a clue. Carissa. Next came the dragon. Oh boy, the standoff was intense, but I was feeling pretty cocky at that point. After dodging the fire breath like a pro, slipped past the dragon and made it to the next bonfire. Nice and easy. Now, I did consider going for the Drake Sword. It's a nice early game power boost, and honestly, I could have used it for the fun of it. But I felt like it would have been too strong for this first playthrough idea I was going for. So I decided to skip the dragon and the sword. I pushed through the Undead Parish, and after a bit of back and forth with the Black Knight, I picked up the Black Knight Greatsword. What a tease. The mighty weapon I'd never be able to use. It was a cruel reminder of my level 1 fate. You can't wield this, but here it is anyway. I carried on through the parish, and eventually stumbled across the bonfire and Andre, which was a huge relief. This is where I made a minor mistake. For some reason, I only upgraded my Morning Star to a +2. I'm not even sure what I was thinking at this point. After grabbing the basement key, the journey towards Quelaag began. The dogs in the lower Undead Burg were a real pain, and at this point I was trying to avoid relying too much on roll iframes, keeping it classic by using my shield more. I wanted to immerse myself in that first time experience, you know? Finally, I worked my way up to the Capra Demon. On my first attempt, I quickly figured out the best tactic: separate the dogs, and use the stairs to my advantage. After a couple of tries, Pepper was dead. I deliberately avoided using the plunge attack. It just felt too easy. Easy fight, fellas. Easy. I got a key as well. Was that fourth try or something? I did it. Me too, man. Me too. Next, we descended into the depths. I decided to embrace my inner mage. Magic builds are ridiculous, right? So, I absolutely abused that to demolish this giant rat in no time. It was honestly kind of unfair, but hey, it was all in the name of first playthrough immersion. Not even a challenge. And then came the truly monumental task of trying to get cursed. Like, actually, genuinely trying to get cursed. But damn, it's apparently harder than it sounds. I even considered pretending to get a text message mid-fight and accidentally standing in the mist, but it just wasn't believable to me. So unfortunately, I had to leave the depths without being cursed. Tragic. And then the gaping dragon appeared, and I was immediately stumped, which to be honest was perfect for maintaining my first playthrough facade. I was still trying to figure out how the hell this big, lumbering thing could be so powerful. Oh, it hit me. Oh, it killed me. What? Figured attacking the tail was probably the safest approach. Easy, predictable, and low risk, right? After breaking the tail off and getting the weapon, I was genuinely impressed by the results. To keep up the beginner act, I asked if this changed the fight at all, wondering if the tail wound now became a weak spot for more damage. I was totally playing the part. I'm curious if the wound is also a weak spot we can, like, you know, abuse. Maybe not. Halfway there. Of course, I realised the boss now couldn't use a tail sweep, so I was just chilling in this safe spot. Instead of attacking the head for more damage, I stuck with the safe method for the rest of the fight. And let me tell you, after a grueling 11-minute battle, remember that time, it'll be important later, I finally took down the gaping dragon. And now, we enter Blacktown. One of my newer viewers pops in and warns me Blacktown is infamous for being a tough area. Oh, don't worry, I know what's coming. Have I ever heard of an infamous location of Dark Souls? Probably, I don't know. Imminent jumping off. Welcome in. Oh, I'm in an infamous location. Okay, cool. Then another new viewer joins, and, get this, actually tells me I shouldn't be here. He tries to guide me back to Gargoyles. I look at the screen, already standing at the edge of Blacktown, and say, well, I'm already here, so I'm going to carry on going. Through this area first, I'm liking it right now. And I'm already this far down, so I may as well carry on, right? As I further my descent into the poison pit of despair, second viewer comments again, you're going to suffer here. Which is kind of funny, because up to this point, my journey had been smooth sailing. Sure, I was level 1 and doing weird things, but I hadn't really been struggling yet. As I get near the bottom, I have this weird deja vu moment. Just at the catacombs, I'm casually exploring, and then whoops, I fall off a ledge. I get stuck for a second, take a huge fall, and somehow survive it. I'm alive? After safely making it to the bottom and finding the bonfire, I wander around the bottom a little bit, but the chances of me finding Ash Lake on the first playthrough are about as likely as me winning the lottery. And let's be real, it's a pain to access without the Lord Vessel anyway, so I decide not to bother with it and just move on. This is where the cracks in my master plan began to show. I quickly realised the sweet spot for fighting Quelaag was tucked right next to her head, where I could safely swing away without being roasted. The problem? I was only doing 31 damage per swing. It was going to take a while. Then came the disaster. My damage dropped to 15 per swing. Yep, 15. Quelaag had 3,139 health, which means at this rate, I would need 210 swings to bring her down. At this point, I had a moment of clarity, and swapped to the battle axe I picked up earlier, hoping for a better result. Spoiler, I was only doing 26 damage per swing. And this lasted over 6 minutes. I know, right? 6 minutes of trying to whittle down her health, knowing full well I was underprepared. Please move from the lava, you're right next to it, I don't like it. Oh, I died. God damn, man. That attack was... shouldn't have hit me. It's such a long fight to play well as well. I'm done. I'm calling it there. After that, I had to admit, it was probably time to head back, do some upgrading, and come back stronger. It wasn't defeat, it was strategy. Or at least, that's how I'm going to spin it. Taking a page out of Batman's book, I started day 3 of some much needed prep time. First stop, Firelink Shrine. I swung by the Firekeeper on my Estus to +1, but of course, the moment my back is turned, I was ambushed. Apparently, Petrus has some friends, and in his dying wish, he decided to put a hit out on me. Classic Petrus, right? After taking care of that little detour, I made my way to Andre for some weapon upgrades. By the time I walked away, I was rocking a fully upgraded +5 Morningstar, ready for round 2 with Quelaag. The fight went a lot smoother this time round. After a few tense moments, I took her down and rang the first bell of awakening. Progress. Alright, this has to be it. I'm stuck under her. Punish die. Easy. GG. Second try. Easy. Listen. We got there. Feeling a bit overconfident, I decided to explore and wander a little. That's when I stumbled across a message on the floor, pointing me to my first illusory wall. Naturally, I had to give it a try. Behind it I found Quelaag's sister, and suddenly, a whole new world of secrets opened up. Now I'm wondering, how many hidden walls and passages I've missed so far. This discovery definitely changes everything. Ceaseless Discharge. What a boss. I had completely forgotten about him, and to be honest, I wasn't entirely sure how to pull off the fast kill. But you know what? I figured I'd give it a shot, and make it look like I figured it out all by myself. As if I'd cracked some hidden secrets. After a couple failed attempts of the fight normally, I came across a message on the floor that simply said, "Lure it out." I thought maybe that's the key. So I aggroed Ceaseless Discharge, I reset his position, I dashed towards the fog door. When he jumped, I got the kill. Felt pretty good. We kill it? I moved on to the Demon Ruins. By now, I knew I couldn't progress much further, but a new player wouldn't have known that. So I ran all the way to the Golden Fog Wall, made sure to play it cool, pretending I had no idea what it was. I called it a Giga Boss Fog Wall or something. It felt pretty natural, since it kind of does look like a pretty big intimidating wall, doesn't it? It's blocked. I took my time heading back to the surface, and next on my list was the Gargoyles. After releasing Loretrek, a new viewer popped in, and, well, they must have figured out pretty quickly something was up. Especially when one of my mods made a prediction about whether I could defeat the Gargoyles in 5 or less tries. No Master Key. On my 6th attempt, I took them down. Sorry, believers. But hey, at least I rang the second and final bell. Easy! Sorry, Rasek. Attempt number 6. Honestly, that wasn't scripted. I didn't mean to do that. I genuinely just beat the boss. Stopping in with Oswald, hoping he would absolve me of my sins and fix the issues with my Firelink NPCs. Unfortunately, I couldn't get anyone to forget about my previous murders. I tried talking to Rhea, but she was struck with fear, leaving me wondering if Oswald's services were more of a suggestion than an actual solution. So, in an attempt to be a better person, I decided not to murder anyone else and attempted to run away from my past actions. But then, I walked back to the Firelink bonfire and found my Firekeeper dead. Wait. What? Seemingly overcome with grief, this was too much for Rhea, and she apparently took her own life, despite my actions to leave her alone. No, I can't. Dude, she died! She died! I did not mean to... How did she die? I've now killed another NPC. Trying to move on, I eventually spoke with Frampt, who directed me to Sen's Fortress. But I wasn't ready to take that challenge just yet. There were still some optional areas I wanted to explore before I progressed. While goofing around in Firelink Shrine, I noticed a message up high, and I thought, why not? This led me back to the asylum for the Stray Demon. A quick detour, and with the Stray Demon dead, I grabbed the Peculiar Doll and made my way out of the asylum. Peculiar Doll, alright. What's a Peculiar Doll all about? Heading back to Firelink Shrine, I took a moment to upgrade my weapons at Andre's Forge, getting ready for what lay ahead. Now it's time to venture into the Darkroot Basin. I just happened to stumble upon another illusory wall. As I'm wandering, I spot a bloodstain near the edge of the map, and of course, I have to see how it dies. It's floating suspiciously around a specific spot. Naturally, I decide to investigate, and there it is, another illusory wall. Classic. There's a bonfire right there. I grab the Elite Knight Armor and equip it, intentionally fat rolling now, just to see if anyone notices. I then kill the Moonlight Butterfly on my first attempt, waddling around in my new armor. And not a single comment, mission accomplished. Easy. After a victory lap through Darkroot Basin, where I take down the Hydra. Oh! Dragon Scale Dusk Crown Ring. I guess it died. And Havel. I wander aimlessly for a bit. Eventually, I decide it's time to head into Sen's Fortress. How dramatic. Be wary of trap. Oh god, that's a trap right on the floor right there. I guess it warned me. Inside Sen's Fortress, I come across the first Mimic chest. A few bloodstains in front of it give me a clue that something's off. I kill my first Mimic, and that raises my suspicions of chests for the rest of the game. Huh. That's a new concept. My first real Souls backseater shows up at the top of Sen's Fortress. One of those guys who thinks he's the tutorial NPC. He begins trying to steer my every direction, which is honestly the most obnoxious form of backseating. Oh, I see him above me. He even makes sure I am acutely aware of the hulking Great Knight swinging an axe at me. After a few solid attempts, and a couple dumb ones, I finally take down the Iron Golem. Satisfying kill. And with that, we're off to Anor Londo. Now the game begins. GG. I have been using a combination of the Morning Star and the Battle Axe. What did I just click on? Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Is this a quick time event? Spam X. Taking me somewhere. Back to Firelink, maybe? Oh my god. Wow. That's not quite Firelink Shrine, is it? Dude, what the hell? This is crazy. I roam around the golden arches of Anor Londo, pretend to get a bit lost, and then I just happen to spot the broken window that leads onwards. A viewer even praises me for finding it so quickly. Yes, thank you. I am very perceptive, totally not staged. Eventually, I end up in this big room with a giant painting. I grab the Painting Guardian sword, and naturally assume that enemies must be guarding this thing for a reason. So I do what any fake first timer would do. Clear the room, approach the painting, and examine it like it's a rare museum piece. Bad idea, dude. That's a bad idea. Oh my god. A quick message from today's video sponsor. This idiot right here. This idiot right here. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You ate my sock and you threw it up, you stupid idiot. Didn't you? Look at him. Idiot face. Absolute idiot face right here. Ate my sock and threw it up on the ground. He's not an idiot. He tries his best. Now look, I really did not enjoy this area. So after a good bit of flailing, I opt to do the skip. I kill the dragon on the bridge and run down the back half. It had killed me a few too many times already, so out of sheer frustration, I throw out the jump attack and accidentally break it. Whoops. Yes, we're skipping now. 5,000 souls. Really? That's all I get? Nothing important? And then just his legs. I can't. I get to Priscilla and I stand there awkwardly for a bit and ultimately walk away after my chat guilt trips me. No XP, no loot, just vibes. Back to Anor Londo. What a waste of time. What the hell was the purpose of that place then? I did nothing. I just fought a dragon and left. What a waste of my time. So, I was in the painted world, I attacked the dragon and then I left. What? Such a waste of my time. After taking down Lautrec and scooping up the Ring of Favour and Protection, which I'm going to totally break soon, it was time for the main event. Ornstein and Smo. Wait a second. This isn't how you're supposed to do the fight, is it? Right. Turns out I was going for Smo first, which is apparently the wrong order, according to everyone and their grandma. My chat starts pushing the fast roll agenda, so I cave and go full tryhard. Strip down, sweaty palms, absolute gamer posture engaged. Honestly, it was a brutal fight. Phase 1 gave me way more grief than Phase 2, especially since I intentionally left Ornstein alive, and boy, does he get cranky when you do that. As the attempts stack up, more and more people flood in with advice. Helpful, unsolicited, contradictory advice. I get the whole cheat sheet. Weapon suggestions, optimal strats, even the fastest shortcut to run it back. Thanks team. Also shout out to this move right here. Hello? More like it. Anyway, after a couple hours of attempts, I finally beat them. Meet Guinevere, and finally acquire the Lord Vessel. Die, you son of a bitch. It's over. Easiest fight of my life, dude. What a sense of relief I just had wash over me. Breathe. I took the Lord Vessel back to Firelink, brought our dear Firekeeper back to life, you're welcome, and then chucked the Lord Vessel into Framp's Gaping Maw to unlock the rest of the game. Why not? Old places. Where the hell was I carrying that thing? What? I just pulled a huge bolt out of nowhere. Okay, yeah, we killed it. After wandering around aimlessly for a bit, pretending I was weighing my options, I decided to rip the band-aid off and go straight for the Bed of Chaos. Not only is it widely known as one of the worst bosses in the game, but it was the only golden fog wall I'd actually seen at this point, so my fate was sealed. On my way down, I spotted this weird, crusty-looking creature clinging to the wall. Naturally, I fixated on it, like a cat with a laser pointer, and promptly died. Great start. I casually stomped yet another asylum demon. Seriously, how many of these guys are there? And carried on. GG's. First try. Ooh, a Demon's Catalyst. Not that's for, but nice. Humanity. Progress has been made. So that's what that wall thing was. A couple of attempts later, I took down the Centipede Demon. On my first try, I went for the tail cut, like a good little secret hunting Souls player would do. Only to discover the tail is in fact sentient and not in the mood. It killed me. Very charming. Oh, and of course, chat was already chiming in before I even had a proper go at it. Dark Souls viewers truly are a unique breed. But hey, it was around this point I tried to have some fun with it, and implemented some kind of self-imposed rule. I wouldn't do anything unless someone tells me. That's it. Enter the Bed of Chaos. At first, I was definitely part of the I hate this boss team, but after running it back, I didn't actually mind it. It was different, and I kind of admired the devs for trying something unique. It wasn't difficult, and the run back from the illusory bonfire wasn't too punishing. I ended up beating this in like 3 deaths. The arena layout is simple. Go left and right first, and you're good. Yeah, we can break this. Maybe? Cutscene? Okay, that's the right thing to do. So now we gotta break the right side. This is the boss. I died in 1 hit. After taking down the Bed of Chaos, which, surprisingly, did not break my spirits, I made my way back to Anor Londo and onto the Duke's Archives, where my next target was Seath the Scaleless. Walking into Seath's arena, I really leaned into the confused first-timer act. I ran up, tried a few fireballs, but absolutely nowhere. I even tried to get cursed, because apparently that's still on my bucket list. But no, nothing. I eventually died, and right on cue, chat let me know it was a scripted death. Thanks for the spoiler, guys. Just insta-dead. I've respawned somewhere else, though. This comment in chat raises an interesting discussion, and I wonder how many people have the same thoughts as me. I like to kill all the enemies first, then on subsequent attempts, I've now earned the ability to run past the enemies, since I've already killed them once. In extremely rare instances, I will just run past, but I always try to avoid this happening. The best example of running past are these giant things in Lost Izalith. Making my way through a crystal cave, I did my best to channel the mindset of a new player, and honestly, it was kind of fun. There's something magical about trying to piece together invisible walkways in a glowing ice cave. But man, that single developer message that spells it out for you, bit of a buzzkill. This would have been way more satisfying to figure out by watching the snowfall. Maybe even better if messages were disabled here entirely. Marking where the path is, I guess, right? And I'll just keep walking. Yeah, I guess we just inching forwards. After navigating invisible paths, and only failed once or twice, which I consider a win, I entered Seath's real arena, and, surprise, I was instantly spoiled again by someone telling me about the crystal mechanic. But hey, my self-imposed rule allows me to act on it once I've been told. So, a couple of attempts later, Seath goes down. And once again, despite my absolute best efforts, I couldn't get cursed. I don't even know why I want it so badly at this point. It's become personal. Achievement unlocked. Defeat Seath the Scaleless. Bequeathed Lord Soul Shard. Humanity and done. At this point, I decided to say screw it, and completely toss my self-imposed rule. It was time to do the DLC. I somehow executed every step of the unlock process perfectly, with absolutely no guidance, no hesitation, no map. Just pure, unfiltered gamer instinct. Yeah, even I don't buy that. Luckily, I did it at the start of stream, so I'm praying nobody was there to witness how suspiciously smooth it went. The DLC was definitely a step up. Like, the devs suddenly remembered you're supposed to suffer in this game. I wasn't all that familiar with the boss's movesets going in, but things were interesting fast. Sanctuary Guardian kicked things off, and honestly, it was a great warm-up. It took me about 30 minutes to really get my rhythm. I started out overly cautious, just poking and retreating, like it was my first time holding a controller. Halfway through, I had the epiphany. Oh wait, I can swing more than once. And after that, it clicked. It's all about getting in the head of the boss, I'm telling you. GG, very good, thank you very much. Wandering deeper into the Royal Wood, I eventually stumbled onto one of the most iconic fights in the series, Artorias. This guy lived up to the hype. The fight was brutal. Not in a gimmicky way, just raw, skill-based aggression. It took me a good while to learn his moveset, understand his timings, and figure out what I could safely punish. After a few hours of solid attempts, I decided to walk away and come back with a clearer head. He's got a broken arm as well, you see that? He's only using one arm right now. Is this where the Abyss Watchers come from? I don't know, but he looks kind of scary. Good luck. Thanks. The next day, I picked things back up, and this time, following my self-imposed only do it if chat tells me rule, someone let me know you can stagger his power-up move. The tip was huge. With that in mind, I chipped away little by little. After 45 minutes of fighting, dodging and praying to RNGesus, I brought him down. It's over. The final kill taken about 7 minutes, but it felt like I just climbed a mountain, an extremely angry, sword-wielding mountain. Only 45 minutes, not bad, not bad. After lighting the next bonfire, I made my way into Ullasil Township. While chatting with my viewers about which boss is tougher, Manus or Artorias, someone confidently dropped, Manus is just a gear check. Yeah, keep this comment in the back of your mind for now. At one point, I came across a sealed wall I couldn't open, which I decided to ignore, partly to preserve the challenge. I wanted the Manus fight to be tough. Of course, this is where I bent my own self-imposed rule a bit. Viewers started telling me exactly what is needed to open the wall. I guess that's the fine print in my rulebook. I can listen if I want. The reason I jumped into the DLC at this point was to unlock the extra cutscene of Sif. So I followed the cat, did the good deed, and saved Sif. A rare wholesome moment before diving headfirst into misery. Manus was an experience. And by experience, I mean several hours of cutting a brick wall for 83 damage per swing. My trusty Morning Star just wasn't cutting it anymore. Literally. So I finally did what I swore I wouldn't. I considered a viewer suggestion from days prior about the reinforced club. At the time, I laughed it off. The club sounds worse. I don't know. A male undead trader has a reinforced club in its inventory that you can use for SL1. I mean, this works, right? This weapon I'm using right now is fine. The club sounds worse. Until now, I played the whole run without looking anything up, just relying on memory and improvisation. But I figured this was a time to break that streak. I looked up the reinforced club, and to my surprise it looked promising. Only problem, I never picked up the very large ember from New Londo. So off I went, down into the ruins, opened the floodgates, and grabbed it. Finally, a very large ember. Let's get the hell out of here. I bought 2 clubs, because of course I did. You never know what I might need a second one for. I then farmed a couple Titanite chunks, and upgraded one to plus 13. Reinforced, ready, and raging. Now armed with something that actually felt lethal, started getting closer to a kill. Each attempt pushed me further, and each failure made me more determined. The closest I got, a heartbreaking death to Manus's signature circle orb attack. One hit away. I felt it. Right after that attempt, a viewer offered me advice. Just trying to be helpful. I declined. Stubborn and confident. Surely we had him this time. I kind of wish I took that advice. After a few more grueling hours, I finally took Manus down, successfully dodging the dreaded orb attack. It's over. felt so satisfying, and yet, in a cruel twist of fate, the same viewer who offered me advice earlier casually dropped the bomb that there was an easy way to dodge the orb attack. Oh yeah, I probably should have listened. My bad. Next up, Calamite. This guy was another tough one. It took me a couple hours, and I'd say the difficulty was somewhere between Sentry Guardian and Artorias. It wasn't quite as hard as Manus, and no special preparation being required this time, just a lot of dying and trying. Spent a fair amount of time chatting with my viewers, probably slowing down my progress a bit, but eventually, I did emerge victorious. If I'd been more focused, I likely could have gotten a kill a bit sooner, but hey, when you're this close to the end of a massive challenge, it's all about the journey, right? GG's. Calamity Ring. And that's it. DLC is over. With the DLC finally behind me, I turned my attention to the Four Kings. But before I could face them, I needed the Abyss Ring. So I showed off the bonus scene of Sif, and yeah, reluctantly killed her. Also, Sif is a girl wolf as well. She's not a boy, she's a girl. Yeah, so look, she sniffs you and recognises your scent. See the expression in the eyes change? She's like, damn, I've got to fight you and kill you now. And then she howls. Oh, and speaking of mistakes, remember that ring of favour and protection I've been holding on to? I accidentally destroyed it. Totally an accident. No one noticed it at the time, but trust me, they'd notice later. Oh boy. Took it off by accident to put the Abyss ring on and it broke. Made my way down to the Four Kings next. And let me tell you, this was without a doubt the worst fight of the game at SL1. The first few hours, pure frustration. I think I was just underprepared, but honestly, some of their attacks are downright brutal. The run back was atrocious, and I was not having a good time. I spent hours grinding away, often dying to the very first attack. That explosion? Yeah, it has ridiculous range. It took me way too long to realise I could block it with my shield, something I learned to do against Quelaag's attack. But the homing missile? That was a whole different beast, especially with the lack of depth perception and my lower health pool after, you know, breaking the Fat Ring. Fun times. I'm dead. Go away, please! It just homes in forever. Look, what do you do? Kill me. Just kill me. It just chases you forever. You can't dodge. After several more hours of faders and grinding, I finally had enough. I decided it was time to up my damage. I farmed a few more Titanite chunks, I got my Reinforced Club to plus 15, and paired it with Power Within and Gold Pine Resin for the extra damage. A viewer told me I increased my damage by almost 50%. I could practically feel the damage pouring out of my weapon, and on the very first attempt with this new setup, I almost did it. The real kicker came when I realised you can squeeze in bonus damage in the few seconds it takes for the Kings to actually die. Game changer. Wait, can you keep attacking them? Dude, you can! Wait, secret tech unlocked! You can attack them after they die and the damage still ticks up. A few attempts later, with this newfound knowledge, finally took them down. The fight felt so much better with the added damage. Maybe my frustration earlier came from being underprepared, but I'll be real, the run back was still horrendous. No amount of extra damage makes this a fun experience. Making my way back to the Tomb of the Giants, a place I had been avoiding like the plague since the very start. Still no light source, so I was stumbling around blindly, trying not to trip over any skeletons. Naturally, I ran into Patches. and I told him I was a cleric, because why not? But of course, I completely missed the hole he mentioned. Instead, I found a bonfire, which was nice. The ladder here. Bonfire? Wait, bonfire? Oh, I see it! Oh, dude, I need this. Oh my god, that's crazy. Except, it meant I had to backtrack. And true to form, Patches pushed me down the hole. But hey, at least I'd landed right on the lantern. Silver linings. That sounds promising. I can't even see him. After dealing with Patches, again, I blindly wandered through the tomb. You're out of here. You're out of here. Idiot. So if I had said no, I wasn't a cleric, he would have not attacked me. And somehow just managed to head in the correct direction. Finally, I found the final Lord Soul, Nito. In my first attempt, I spotted those massive skeletons at the back of the arena. So I made a mental note to stick to the front next time. Proactive, right? Chat, being the ever-helpful bunch they are, suggested I equip a divine weapon to permanently kill the skeletons during the Nito fights. Now, I'll admit, that lifted a bit of the challenge. But hey, I'm here for the experience, and apparently the backseaters were as well. Still, it definitely made the fight a whole lot easier. I also decided that after Nito, I'd open the floodgates and let chat take the reins for the rest of the journey. I switched to the Divine Battle Axe for the skeletons, keeping my trusty plus 15 club for Nito himself. And you know what? The fight was surprisingly easy. I took him down first try with the Divine Weapon. Hey, first try Nito. That's crazy. Dude, I first tried Nito. Good shout on the Divine Weapons for the skeletons. The fight's free when they're dead. That's insane. Immediately after defeating Nito, I was told to equip the Dark Moon Seance Ring and head to the Dark Moon Tomb. This was all new to me. Until then, the only way I knew to get to Gwendolyn was by attacking Guinevere, so I was pretty grateful for the guidance. After taking down Gwendolyn, I cleared the path to Gwyn. Finish. Nice.
Oh, heretic, swathed in dark, an eternal curse upon thee.
It wasn't that bad. When I entered the kiln of the first flame, I kept up with the facade that this was my first playthrough. At this point, I'm still attracting new viewers, and they're still asking if I'm doing SL1 as my first playthrough. I kept up the act though, pretending to be lost and asking about the knights in the area, while wandering around the kiln like a total beginner. Around this point, I started to bring up parrying more and more, hoping someone would take the bait and tell me Gwyn can be parried. Can we parry these dudes, by the way? The knights? I parried them in Anor Londo, so I'm assuming I can parry them, right? Oh no! Sure enough, after a couple of mentions, someone finally confirmed that yes, Gwyn can be parried. My rule had been satisfied. In my very first attempt, I was absolutely floored. The parries were almost perfect. I was genuinely shocked. There was no way I expected to pull it off first try. Unfortunately, I did die during that attempt. That didn't stop me. Okay, wow, this fight's actually crazy. Okay, can't parry that, it's a grab. Or that, it's a grab as well. Or that. Stop grabbing me, dude. What are you grabbing so much for? Okay, okay. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna heal. I'm so confused. Why is this so easy? Do you parry everything? This is the parry boss. Wait, the fight's almost over. Oh, that's fast. Okay, okay, that's kind of fast. Okay, I didn't expect it to be so fast. Then for the next half an hour, I tried over and over, dying repeatedly, barely landing a single parry. Let's see if we can parry this guy. A few more times. Nope. My timing is off as... oh my god. But then, something clicked. That's one of like 15 we need to hit in a row. Alright, two-hand is good. Two-hand is nothing slow. I like this. Nice. 3 in a row. How many do we need? Like 10 in a row, probably. Too fast. Got it. I'm gonna heal after this. Alright, we missed one, but we still hit it afterwards. So I'm gonna heal. Quickly. I missed the heal. Okay, I missed the heal, but it's fine. I'm Stamina X right now. Got it. Nice. Okay. I lost count, but it was still good. I lost count, but it was still good. That was fast. Still good. I'm gonna spam heal after this. I'm spamming X. Drink. Nice. Got it. He could die here. One more. Drink. Drink. It's over. It's over! Sorry. A bit loud. GG's, everyone. The parry god. 10 parries in a row. Dark Souls has been defeated at level 1. Just to remind everybody. Just there. Level 1. GG. SL1 Dark Souls complete. Apparently, I almost chased Gwyn without realising it. Something about Esther's chugging in his face. A strategy buried so deep in my memory, I only just remembered it now. As a challenge run, this was genuinely a blast. Dark Souls 1 is still my favourite in the series, and playing like this at level 1, under the guise of a first playthrough, was probably the most fun I've ever had with it. The concept worked even better than I expected. A lot of newer viewers seemed to fully believe it was my first time, which made it all the more satisfying. I wanted to ride the line, being just clumsy enough to sell the act, while pulling off moments of clear competence to keep people guessing. By the end, I started easing off on the act, partly because, realistically, you'd expect some skill growth by then, but also because it felt right to let the actual run take the spotlight. Thanks for coming along for this weird little experiment. This was fun.